Hello, interwebs, and welcome to Closeup. I'm your co-host, Enid.
And I'm Wednesday. About to throw up looking at the color my co-host is wearing. It's very gaudy. But yeah, let's talk about Wednesday, Season 2. Full spoilers ahead. I'm sure I will have the enthusiasm of Wednesday, which is to say, biting witticisms delivered dryly, and Justin will be very exuberant the entire time.
Yeah, sure.
Hello, we're in the middle of recording. Come say hello.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, now that our boss is out of his own office, we continue with our Wednesday Season 2 review. Full spoilers, like I was just getting at there. And yeah, so my rough idea for this season, Wednesday Season 2 maintains an enjoyable tone and characters, but has more twists and turns than it can properly set up. My thoughts in a nutshell. So coming in from our extreme long shot to our medium shot now, what was your opinion on Wednesday Season 1?
I thought it was good. I know I wasn't particularly the audience. I'm not the audience it's designed for. It's obviously for,
10
would
years
you say,
younger than us.
teenagers?
Oh yeah, it's
I guess.
high school age, yeah.
Just because of some of the drama stuff, but it's entertaining enough. I do enjoy the characters of the character of Wednesday. You know, it's a pretty strong concept for a character, and you know what? It was fun. Our boss kind of pushed us to watch it, and
He was watching it with his teenage daughter, and he said, "No, I really like this," and we're like, "Fine, we'll try it."
we tried it. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good.
Once again, despite not being the target audience for it, there was a lot to enjoy about it. There was a lot of, like I was saying, dry witticisms and just biting dark humor, which I very much enjoyed because that's totally up my alley. Jenna Ortega was just, wow, you're a incredibly great new talent on the block here, and just kind of fun stories on a spin-off of the Addams Family. But then we get into Season 2, which doubles down on a lot of the stuff I enjoyed from Season 1, while also doing a lot of the stuff not quite as well. The big change this season is that they basically just full-on leaned into the fact that it's an Addams Family show. It's still called Wednesday, she's still the main character, but it's an Addams Family show with her as the lead, effectively. They even jettison some of the Season 1 characters to make that happen. Like, I think Xavier's the main casualty there. Her friend, whose name I don't even remember right now, like Eugene or something like that, he was sidelined pretty thoroughly as well. And, I mean, people like Weems were just killed off. She came back later. And they brought in a lot of new people. Like Steve Buscemi's character, Dort, Agnes. There were, basically they didn't really do a heck of a lot with the Addams Family in Season 1, so they were effectively all new characters this year too. They really got to delve into them. Francoise and Isaac as well, or slash Slurp. There was a lot of new characters to juggle this year. Some got more screen time than others. But the fact that there were so many people vying for screen time over 8 episodes, I feel like they did a good enough job that me as the viewer, I understood who everybody was. I remember who they are, more or less what their motivations are, what they're going for. Was it seamless? Absolutely not. Definitely have a lot of critiques as far as the balance in the writing goes, but they did manage to not make it suck with this much on the plate. Although it does make me appreciate the writing of someone like a James Gunn even more, who is very adept at handling so many characters and even less screen time. You look at something like Superman or his Guardians of the Galaxy movies or his Suicide Squad, and you're like, that guy can handle an ensemble.
Mm-hmm.
He makes it look so effortless. When you come into something like Wednesday with a huge cast, you're like, okay, so this is how more average writers handle such a large ensemble.
Yeah, there was a lot to juggle, and I think that has its drawbacks for sure. Just because a lot of the side characters don't get enough time to really even matter. It's almost like if you took some of them out, it probably would have actually improved the show.
Probably.
Just because of how much, like, you're not there. Some of the characters are not given enough time to even be worth the time they were given. So the time was actually wasted, basically.
I think the main problem as far as that goes was that whole subplot with Ajax, Bianca, the cult storyline, and Bianca's mother as well. It did end up tying in very late in the show when they revealed Dort was the mastermind behind the cult, and he was trying to get Hester Frum's fortune as part of his cultish scheme. But that was playing out basically like that already. So the whole cult thing kind of felt tangential and didn't really matter.
Also, to think about it this way, your main two characters are of the first season were Wednesday and Enid, basically.
Yeah.
Right? Neither one of those characters has anything to do with that whole side plot. Yeah, it ties into Morticia's involved with it because she's,
The gala fundraiser.
But Wednesday and Enid have absolutely nothing to do with that side plot whatsoever. I was thinking about it more. I'm like, well, at least everything connected. But then I'm like, no, actually, it didn't. It didn't connect whatsoever.
No.
It's literally a B plot to the end, but it makes it feel like it connected to the A plot. But it never did.
Well, usually, at least with B plots and C plots, they tie in eventually.
Yeah.
You have to watch this for a very long time to see, oh, well, there were threads. The only connection was Principal Dort. And even that, Wednesday didn't have a heck of a lot to do with him.
Not really.
Morticia did, Bianca did, but he was around the Addams family a lot. He really wanted her grandmother's fortune, but he and Wednesday never really had any meaningful interaction besides, hey, I wish you'd show a little more school spirit. You've got some respect around here, and I want you to embrace a leadership role on campus. Their relationship was basically just, he is just her overbearing principal, and that's as far as it went. She was into nothing as far as his evil schemes go.
And I think that's the thing I wasn't that interested in, is that if in the grand scheme of the B plot, I guess Principal Dort is the bad guy.
Yeah.
But out of all the characters who were kind of involved in that plot, he was the only one I was mildly interested in.
Steve Buscemi had one of the best performances of the year.
Yeah.
He was very charismatic. It's just, my favorite thing about Principal Dort is how over the top he is in trying to look cool. And like, sometimes he can actually be kind of cool, but other times he's just really trying. Like, one of my favorite was kind of that cringe-inducing scene when he starts playing Bruce Springsteen and trying to like dance on stage at the first rally of the year, just to try and pep up some school spirit.
Yay, Nevermore! Everybody cheers! Yay, Principal Dort! Oh,
Dead silent. I also liked how petty he was, trying to erase Principal Weems' memory from just school history. Just pretend her era never happened.
Yeah, he was good overall. I think he was a great addition to the show. I just wish he tied in to the main plot.
Or stayed around longer.
Yeah, that's the thing, is now he's gone. So I feel like that whole, that B plot took up all that time, never connected to the A plot, and just took up space in the show.
Yeah.
And the most entertaining part of it is gone from the show now. He's not even, if he was an addition that would carry on into the next season, maybe I'd be okay with that. Because eventually, he could play a more pivotal role or whatever, right?
I think my big problem with it is also that they started to played into our expectations in a way. They set up the first half of the season of, hey, anybody might be the bad guy here, even the new principal, ooh. And then the new principal actually wasn't involved with any of that whatsoever. And I'm like, oh, maybe he's just a nerdy guy who's really into fundraising, but also kind of into emotional blackmail of his students. He's sketchy, but maybe not the bad guy. And then the back half of the show basically just, oh, he's actually the cult leader and he's doing this fraudulent scheme with the siren song and trying to get this whole fortune. And then he gets stoned and crushed with the chandelier. And I'm like, I feel like the show is missing out on potential to have somebody like that carry over for the longer term. Because they know they're getting a season 3. They're working on that right now. So to have a character like that have a slow burn arc,
I think it would have been more interesting if they played with that reveal that it's like, okay, yeah, he's the actual mastermind behind this cult. It would have been more interesting to watch the fall guy actually take the fall.
Yeah.
And keep him going, knowing he's a bad guy, but he's also the principal of the school.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, what's he gonna do now? But they resolved it. Like he's done.
Yeah. And my big problem with it was they really only gave you a couple inklings of setup about his role in that organization. I think the big hint from the first half was the fact that he happened to randomly have that amulet that could stop the siren song. Mm-hmm. Which, when they revealed, oh, he's the guy, part of me was like, what? Where is this set up whatsoever?
Yeah,
and then I'm like,
thing
wait a minute. He had that amulet, which looking back on it from a month ago, that makes a lot of sense that the leader of the siren cult has an amulet that stops him from getting controlled too. It made that one scene feel more connected. So I know it was set up earlier on, but that's kind of how a lot of the show this season did its reveals. They set up one thing very early on that you can say, oh, well, somebody thought of this. It was in the first half. And then they don't follow it up again whatsoever until the twist actually comes. And then you're like, oh, yeah, okay, well, I guess you kind of set that up, but you didn't really lead to it. You just teased it very early.
That's
just to say it didn't come out of nowhere.
That was one of my major problems I had, is the amount of twists in it was interesting, but most of them just felt like they came out of nowhere. Even though you're right.
They were there.
They were like teasers rather than pieces of the puzzle, right?
Yeah.
Like I think I compare it to the first season. Mm-hmm. Where the first season had pieces of the puzzle, everything was kind of drip fed along, and you were kind of like they played you down different paths and red herrings to be like, okay, who's the hide, who's the monster?
Yeah.
But they gave you pieces of the puzzle along the way. They gave you little hints like, oh yeah, his dead mother was an outcast. That was like dropped like casually in there.
Yeah.
But then you get to things like this season where it's like, that was another one, was exactly that. There was the one offline in the first season that his mother was an outcast.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to remember that from 3 years ago, there was like nothing teased for that till it happened. And it's like, I guess that makes sense. Like it was there, but
the back half of this season was just twists on top of twists on top of twists.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, okay, so that brunette lady in the lowest chamber, oh, okay, she's Tyler's mom. Wow.
What a twist.
Okay, cool. Principal Dort, he was the Morning Star guy or whatever, Morning Song. Ooh, twist. The zombie was her brother. Twist. What else?
Morticia and Gomez killed the zombie.
They killed the zombie. Twist. Thing is the zombie's hand.
Thing is the zombie's hand. I actually like that one. That one was cool.
That one was interesting to me because even early on, I noted, like half consciously, half unconsciously, that the guy was wearing a glove. And I thought to myself, I remember thinking in like a month ago, I wonder if he's like missing a hand or something. He's wearing a glove. Not even connecting the fact that Thing's whole thing is that this season is that he's feeling upset about his lack of a history and the fact that he's got that disconnected, dismembered support group sort of thing. And it just, when the reveal came, that I think was maybe the best reveal of a twist this season, because it was right in my face the whole time. I actually thought about it during the first half, but just didn't connect it to thing.
Yeah, it was there. It was there. It was fully there. And I guarantee there were people who probably pieced it together.
Probably.
I didn't. I'm not going to say that I pieced that one together. But when it happened, I was like, you got me, show. That one was good. Especially after it being like one of the final twists of the show, basically.
Yeah.
Which none of these twists are connected, but that one I was like, hey, that one was pretty good.
I also really like how that paid off, where he tricked Wednesday into getting Thing in the box and then sewed Thing back up to his hand. And oh, wow. So, because I was kind of wondering the whole time that I know they mentioned what his outcast power was, but I've spent most of the season forgetting that he was a Da Vinci and just not using powers like that, if they even did mention it.
What? The Da Vinci?
Like the art students who can manipulate things with their minds, like the pyre, the Raven pyre at the very beginning.
Oh, okay.
He was one of those, but he had his inclination more towards science, so he was like the science of artistry, or the artistry of science sort of thing. He kind of combined the arts and the sciences. But most of the show, I don't remember if they called him a Da Vinci at any point or if they just set him up as this mad scientist sort of figure. But I thought it was very interesting when he's talking about, oh, what's a Da Vinci without his right hand? And then he starts recreating his entire lab from scratch in Iago Tower. I'm like, oh, so that's what this guy could do. That was his power, and why he never seemed to be using it before now was he was physically unable
That's interesting.
to use his outcast ability.
I did catch on that it was like, okay, once he got the hand, his powers were like back in full, but I didn't catch on that it was like that, but that's kind of interesting. I don't know. Speaking of all the villains, I really think this season suffers from the Spider-Man 3 syndrome with who's the villain of the show, right? Like, you have so many villains. You got Isaac Knight, you've got Agnes is even a villain kind of at first.
The first half, yeah.
Even like coming right to the reveal where she's like, she actually was playing a villain role for the first half of the show.
That's true.
She actually was a villain. She was not
stalker.
Just like, she was the stalker.
She kidnapped Bruno and Enid.
Yeah, she was actually a villain. So you got her, you got Isaac Knight. The lady at the psych ward ended up being a villain as well. Principal Dort ended up being a villain as well. Like, there's already 4. I'm sure there's probably another one that I can't think of.
Probably forgetting somebody at the moment.
I mean,
yeah.
I didn't include like Tyler or Tyler's mom. Like,
Yeah, sure.
Tyler could be considered a villain, but I don't really consider him the villain. He was more playing sidekick to who I would consider the main villain, but
Yeah, he's the one that they want to carry over time.
And also, I mean, they teased at the end that there was another villain in play, which was her Aunt Ophelia as well. So
yeah,
there's a lot of strings going on here, and I think too much overlap.
Yeah, I think you could have easily spread this over a couple seasons.
Yeah.
Or like introduced all these characters at the very most and spread them out. I think Dort could have been 2 seasons, for example, instead of just wrapping up in the second to last episode and whoops, Pugsley's missing. Now we have to deal with this outcast machine.
Yeah, it felt really condensed and really quick. Yeah, I just didn't know how I felt about that the first season did it so well where it's like, okay,
yeah,
anybody could be the villain. There was tons of options for who would be the villain. And, you know, it narrowed down to one, and then it was a little bit of a twist that it was like, oh, there's actually 2 villains, but they were working together.
Yes.
So they were a pair unit, but there was one main villainous force in the show.
Yeah.
And all of the strings tied back. And I really liked that. This season was like, strings are tied here, strings are tied here. There's an ending for each villain, like every couple episodes.
You know what was one of the funniest things for me was when we started watching the second half. We didn't binge watch it. We watched it maybe one episode a night or so. And I think it was after the first or second one of part 2 where you and I started talking about the Bird Lady villain. And we're like, hold on a second. So did she have anything to do with Wednesday whatsoever? We're like trying to piece it all together. And we're like, oh, no, actually she didn't. The only time she ever interacted with Wednesday besides the reveal was when
She showed up at her lab.
Well, when she showed up at the lab, but also when Wednesday finally got all the news clippings of all the Outcast obituaries.
Oh, yeah.
And she sent the Raven to steal the obituaries. That's the most they ever...
That's right. Because the whole first half up until then was like somebody screwing with Wednesday. And it was like, okay. And you were led to believe that it was her, but it wasn't.
But that was the funny thing is once she stole those obituaries and revealed herself is, hey, okay, all these Outcasts, they're going to get released now. And I guess you've kind of foiled me. And we're like, so was she actually that important? And just like the day we decided, wait a minute, she's not that important. She was in the trunk of Isaac's car dead the next episode, just casually off screen.
I said it before we even watched it. I'm like, well, she's like just dead. She's just dead. She just doesn't show up again. She's just gone.
I'm like, hold up a minute. She has nothing to do with anything the main cast is doing. Does she even matter? Oh, apparently not.
She doesn't matter. All right. Well, she got her ending.
That was an amusing twist just for the fact of, wait, you set all this up and just as I'm thinking about it, oh no, it didn't matter. Okay.
Yeah, and that's the thing is it almost feels like instead of playing Red Herrings, they played Red Herrings who were actually villains. So they actually had moving parts in play when...
Yeah, simultaneously, everything this season is a red herring, but also the actual thing you thought the whole time.
Yeah, so it's like...
They just dragged it out.
That's kind of cheating, isn't it?
Kinda.
Isn't it? If you're like, oh, we're looking for the bad guy, who's the bad guy? And it's like, everybody is the bad guy. Everybody I thought was the bad guy was a bad guy, except for, like, the music teacher, maybe.
And she helped one of the bad guys at the very end, but she wasn't a bad guy.
Questionable if she's a bad guy or not.
Yeah.
But everybody else that I thought was a bad guy was a bad guy.
Yeah, I think that's what kind of made it unsatisfying was you have so many things and it's simultaneously what you thought it was, but also wasn't really set up that way. It's weird because you're like, yes, all these things are red herrings, so I'm not really looking here anymore. But I feel like that's where the show tripped up, is once the show was leading its audience away from the red herrings, they weren't working in the background to make sure that the reveal in the end made sense. It was like, okay, your audience, you're not looking at the red herrings anymore, and then we're just going to smack you in the face that was a reveal the whole time, using evidence you only ever saw when you thought it was a thing in the red herring phase.
It was a tease for...
You kind of know what I'm saying? Like, they teased it early, forgot about it, when they should have been playing it out at the same time. Like, okay, yeah, we realized it was a red herring, but you should still have been setting things up before the reveal. Whereas all their reveal is just, oh, this is all just stuff I thought of during the red herring phase of it all. Like, it's missing a whole middle chunk of it.
It didn't leave me thinking about anything, really. Because there was no more evidence to even play on. But there was no room for it. And that's why I think it suffers from the Spider-Man 3 syndrome, is they just shoved way too much in.
It's packed to the brim.
That's why I think especially Dort should have been saved for the next season. Like, they had something good with going with him, and that could have very easily been the reveal at the end, that it's like, okay, now we actually know he's a bad guy going into the next season. That, I think, would have been interesting.
I could understand some of the things they were doing, like with Enid and Wednesday specifically, how their plot lines had nothing to do with each other, but that was also the whole point, was they weren't communicating very well this season, and had entirely different things going on that they never even realized till the body swap episode.
Mm-hmm.
Of, wait, you saw you have a spirit guide now and you saw this vision that shows I'm going to die and you've been investigating a serial killing without talking to me. And meanwhile, Wednesday's like, oh, you have like all this boy trouble with this guy who's probably cheating on you and you might turn into a lone wolf. And
well, she's sitting there thinking the whole time, it's like, oh, Enid's just got all this drama, like CW drama, basically.
Yeah.
And then she's like actually in it. And she's like, oh, this sucks.
Wasn't there actually a CW show called Teen Wolf?
Maybe.
I know Teen Wolf was a... Yeah. Oh, well.
It's something. Very much... Enid's plot is like a CW show, basically. It's pretty...
Yeah. Wednesday's catching serial killers and she's... But I might be all alone.
Now, speaking as somebody who is kind of meh on this season... I read online that a lot of people didn't like the body swap episode.
Oh, really?
I, for one, really liked it. It's probably one of the standout episodes.
It's probably my second favorite one this season. But I'll tell you why people don't like it is because everyone on the internet is averse to so-called filler episodes.
It is a filler episode, yes. Yeah.
It, like, none of the plot really moves ahead there, but that is the one where Enid and Wednesday resolve their differences and see a little empathy for each other.
I think it was a good switch of pace for things because it was kind of like, you know, I almost felt like her performance as Wednesday was starting to be a little stilted, like it not as entertaining as it once was. So having that switch up of things was kind of cool, and especially it really showed how good of an actress Jenna Ortega is, that she was able to fully convince me that she was playing Enid now.
It's the little subtleties, just the way her body language was, or the way she moved her hands, or her facial expressions, just all the little details. It was like, oh, Jenna Ortega was really paying attention to, I don't remember. Emma Myers, yeah. She was really paying attention there.
Yeah.
Whereas Emma Myers was, I feel like she was doing a bit more of a not as thorough a job.
She was trying, but it was pretty obvious that she's just kind of doing the motions. Yeah. She didn't really sell it for me.
Like, yes, I can tell you're playing Wednesday, but you're nearly playing like not quite a caricature of Wednesday.
It almost feels like Enid pretending to be Wednesday for a day.
Nearly. Whereas when I'm watching Jenna Ortega, I'm like, this is just Enid in
that one
in Wednesday's body.
Bought for sure. And I think that just comes down to Emma Myers has been kind of hit or miss with her acting. Like, there's a lot of scenes and dialogue where she just doesn't do it for me. She's just not. Yeah. She's not selling the lines very well, I find.
I don't know if it's because she's dealing with like a Hayden Christensen sort of situation where it's like she's trying to make the most of her writing, or if she's just not delivering it.
I think it's amazing. A bit of both, because she is written kind of funny. Her actual dialogue is a little strange. If you try to say it yourself, like I've actually tried it because I didn't want to critique her acting
without trying it.
Yeah. But also when it comes into, I think that was why I didn't want to say it too much. I like bring it up too much when we talked about like the first season, because I'm like, you know what, it was passable. Maybe it's just poorly written. But when you see her now playing Wednesday, doing a different character, it kind of shows that maybe she is just a little bit weaker as an actor. She's just not...
Doesn't have Ortega's range.
No, she's just not quite...
Yeah, like she's good in the role she is cast for here. Mm-hmm. She's like Enid Sinclair. I know who that character is, and I think she plays it well, but she's not...
And I think that's probably why they relegated her to more of a side character rather than the second protagonist.
And personally, she's still a cut above some of the other teenage actors on this show.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, hate to pick on actors, I'm not going to be naming too many names, but a lot of the teenage cast on this show are just, besides Ortega, really are just
passable.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just sounds like they're reading the lines.
Yeah.
Like
I don't want to say they're bad by any stretch, but they're kind of wooden sometimes.
Yeah. Like especially Pugsley, I think, for carrying basically the C plot. He was pretty stilted.
Like, I like some of his readings with enthusiasm, but it felt like you're right. It felt like he's reading with emotion.
He played better off of other characters when he was in scenes with his father.
Yep.
When they're bouncing off each other, he did very well. I thought he did very well. But when he's leading the scene, especially the scenes with the bug kid, I can't even remember his name, who's also he's not the strongest actor either.
Yeah.
So having those two in a room with a zombie who has no characterization, Pugsley's kind of taking the lead there, and it just doesn't work as well. You're putting too many actors who need somebody else to bounce off of, I think.
I think that was also my thing with the morning song thing with like Bianca and Ajax as well.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, you're putting not your strongest cast all together right now. Basically, when Jenna Ortega or the adults aren't in the room with these people, it's harder.
I'll give that to Emma Myers though, is that when she's put in a room like that, she can kind of pull it off. It's not as good as if you put one of your top actors in.
She can carry her own scenes.
She carries it. She does carry it. I will say that. But she's just not as strong to be carrying a full-blown protagonist role, like the second protagonist role, I think.
I think her biggest problem is that she's paired up with Jenna Ortega.
That doesn't help.
Who is just so good that you're like, okay, well, you're also her contemporary, and you're just, it's not fair. It's hard to compare. Then again, there is also, I really enjoyed the actress who played Agnes.
I was about to say,
she did a very good job this season.
She did a standout job. She was great.
Just her psychotic stares and deliveries. She was very entertaining every scene she was in.
I think it was interesting too that like you could pick up. She had a lot of facial cues too, which I thought was really good for an actor who's so young.
Yeah,
that it's like she's not perfect in every scene, but there were some scenes where she was doing mostly facial acting and she was responding to things, and you could tell what was going on just by that. Yeah. And I thought that was really good.
I read somewhere the actress is, I believe she's about 16. And the other ones are like in their early 20s. Yeah. So she's actually quite a bit younger than everyone else, and she's carrying her own for sure.
Yeah, I think if she continues acting throughout, I think she'll actually be a really good actor. Because I find delivering lines and playing characters is easier than facial acting. Facial acting, some people just can't get it. It's not, you can always learn to do your lines better or do more takes of particular lines.
Yeah, facial acting is the subtext though.
Facial acting, if you can't do it, you just can't. It's not a thing that it takes a lot of practice and a lot of time, or if you're lucky, you just get it.
Yeah.
And I think she's got that, so I think she could actually turn out to be a really good actress if she keeps pushing forwards. And I hope this kind of is like her breakout role. I would like to see more of her.
She was a scene stealer for sure.
Yeah. And the other one I really liked was the guy who played Isaac Knight.
Yes, I was about to mention him as well as the other, like, wow, you're really good. Especially because we get to see him in different forms as well. We see him in the zombie form and then building up his humanity again, and
yeah, each stage he's kind of going through each little step, and
you get to see a bit of his craziness when he's going full on monster and eating people's brains. You get to see him be intense and villainous. You get to see him be the mad scientist putting on like Wednesday said, cliche villain music. And
well, they even gave him like prequel bits too, right? Yep. Like they showed us his early day, his first life, basically. And I thought that was cool too, because he was playing it a bit differently. Even though I think I had an issue with it, I pointed it out to Wei when I was watching it. I'm like,
yeah,
he said something like, "Oh, I've been waiting a long time for this for his revenge," and it's like, technically you were dead, and your consciousness would have been like, this would be like 2 weeks has passed.
That's true.
You weren't really waiting like 30 years, my friend.
He's been melodramatic. I've been waiting a long time, 2 weeks, but it's a long
2
time.
weeks, but it was a long 2 weeks. Okay, I was chained up in a bee cage.
Had to eat mystery meat. I like how he shoved it back in Puzzler's face later. How do you like it?
That was great. But no, I think disregarding that, my thoughts on it is that the way they played it off was that 30 years still sort of affects him, because in that prequel version of himself, he acts younger. He acts different than he does now.
Yeah.
So something about that, he's obviously changed in maturity alongside, even though he's been dead. Unless he wasn't totally dead, maybe that was the point, is that his like clockwork heart was keeping him sort of alive.
It may have been going a little bit, but not.
Because like, can Pugsley just reanimate any corpse he finds? Is that how it works?
I feel like he restarted the machine, or at least he kicked it back into gear, whatever the clockwork heart was doing.
Well, that's why maybe he's been like just barely clinging to life for like 30 years, buried in the ground.
It's got to be something like that.
Because otherwise that line doesn't make sense, and the context of like, oh yeah, here's prequel him acting younger, and then he went on to act different when we got to see him not be a zombie. But he was really well done, I thought. That's why I was like, all right, I'm accepting these twists on twists because I like this character. He's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I also thought it was interesting that Francoise was kind of, she actually liked normies, and even if just for the sake of trying to save herself, was okay with getting her outcast powers taken away.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Tyler was just, he was pretty rageful about it, like this is who I am, why are you stripping it away from me? Why would you even think about that?
Now that was a twist that I saw coming. Was that
they swapped?
That she was going to put him in the machine, because I was like, I sat there, I'm like, I bet you she's already toast. I think she's already dying, and she's technically keeping him from going insane and dying at the moment. I'm like, I bet you that's what it's going to be, is that she's going to take his powers away.
That's a good call.
To save him, basically. And then that turned out to be the case. And I thought it was interesting that Wednesday saved him.
Even she didn't really know why. But she also just denies her feelings for him the entire time anyway. That's just sort of her thing, is I pretend I don't like him.
I thought he was gonna turn on them when they were burying Wednesday.
Oh yeah.
I thought for sure. I was like, oh, they're playing into it. And I really thought that he was about to be like, nope, I'm gonna dig that up. And then he didn't. I'm like, okay, we'll see where this goes.
I mean, he also put her into a coma earlier on in the season.
Yeah, but that was in his
Whipped her out of
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Where they already said he's not really in control.
That's true.
Entirely like that.
I thought it was interesting he killed Christina Ricci, though. He kind of baited her in, and she tried to act like, I'm your replacement mother figure, and that's what set him over the edge, and killed his master there. Just the idea of parent-to-children relationships is very prominent this year. Sometimes in multiple generations. You have Francoise and Tyler, Morticia and Wednesday, Hester and Morticia, even, and maybe other one.
And Pugsley and his father.
Pugsley and his father had a lot of stuff, a lot of scenes together as well. Bianca and her mother as well. There was a lot of dynamic there.
There's even hints towards it with Agnes and her father.
Her absentee father. Yeah.
They had a little bit, they touched a little bit on that. Not like as much as the other characters, but it was there.
She's got issues. Yep. So that's definitely a big thing this season is, like, I feel like part of it is intergenerational trauma that's getting passed down, or these parents think that they're doing what's right for their children, but making things worse. Especially in the Addams family, it's all the secrets Gomez and Morticia are keeping that are making things harder for Wednesday. And Pugsley, if they just were more upfront, they would have known what they were dealing with very early on in the season.
Mm-hmm.
But it's because they were trying to hide everything. But also it goes the other way, because
the children are hiding things too.
The children were hiding things first.
If anybody who's connected to one of these strings was honest with any other person in this family, literally, if Pugsley even told Wednesday about what was going on, maybe she might have figured it out. Literally, any one of them could have communicated to anybody. Morticia and Gomez knew about the zombie. They knew about him. You know,
yeah.
If any one of them was to communicate truthfully, it could have unraveled the whole thing.
Way early. Yeah.
Which I thought that was kind of interesting.
What I thought was interesting, now I'm literally just thinking of this as a counterpoint, is you have Hester Frump, who all the main Addams family are too busy keeping secrets from each other. Meanwhile, she's way too honest. She's brutally honest with all of them, which is probably why Morticia started keeping secrets. Because there was that one scene where Wednesday discovered her novel. She's like, "What? You're a romance novel writer?" And she's like, "Oh, well, you know, I showed a book to my mother when I was your age, and she just ripped into me so much that I keep it hidden." And now that I'm thinking about it, that's kind of a big thing you could spin into her behavior this season, is she got, like, her brutally honest mother just emotionally abused her so much as a child. She's just, okay, I'm going to keep some things close to the chest. I'm not going to be as honest as my mother was, because that messed me up.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to let my kids be more blissfully ignorant. But Wednesday keeps digging into dark secrets. And Morticia's just like, I don't know what to do with this. It's bad for you if you know these things, but also I feel bad keeping them from you. I'm taking your book away. I'm burning it. I really like their sword fight in the woods.
Yeah, that was cool.
I also like that Morticia won, where Wednesday's characteristically overconfident about the entire thing. You taught me everything I know. Yeah, but I didn't teach you everything.
Yeah.
Like, mom still knows a couple things that Wednesday doesn't.
I think that ties into something that I had a little bit of an issue with as well, was that the first season felt like they had some creative things going. The second season felt like they were like, let's copy and paste some things. You've got your big sword fight scene. You've got your camp game scene. That was a whole episode. In both seasons, they had the same sort of thing going on.
Yeah.
You had your try to be a TikTok dance scene. They tried to recreate some of the most popular elements of the first one, but it just felt more soulless, basically.
I have heard people complain about the dance scene in particular, because I don't believe that the first one was intended to go viral. It was just like, Wednesday goes to the dance, and the routine Jenna Ortega came up with for the character in this moment was just, wow, we didn't expect to see the character in this light, and it just resonated with people for how earnest and strange it was at the time, that it just blew up.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this dance feels like an attempt to recreate that energy with an original Lady Gaga song.
That one's the worst offender for it. But I just thought that it was strange that I'm like, you really got to repeat yourself in the second season, like try to hit all the same beats again.
I think Wednesday could arguably suffer from what they used to call a sophomore slump in classic TV parlance.
Which is
basically just, we had a really good idea first season, have a bit more growing pains on the follow-up year, and then course correct by season 3.
We'll see.
Like a lot of famous shows are known for that. They have strong first seasons, are pretty good from season 3, at least for a couple years afterward, but season 2 sees a bit of a creative dip just because, okay, we kind of put our best foot forward and we don't really know how to continue. But season 2 is when, basically season 1 is when writers get a feel for their characters and their world. Season 2 is where those same writers start to struggle with how to continue the threads. And then by their mistakes in season 2, they have more or less figured out how to continue things.
Yeah.
Just in a story world now. So I do anticipate season 3 will be better.
I think season 2 has enough good in it that Netflix will carry on and make a season 3.
Mm-hmm.
But they need to get this done sooner than not as long of a gap.
I read that the showrunners made a lot of excuses about why there was a gap, first of all, but they did acknowledge it was a problem and they made a promise to get the next one out quicker.
Mm-hmm. Now, my other thing is with 3 years to make the show, I had a lot of issue because there were a lot of like graphical errors and filming mistakes that were noticeably jarring to me. Like there was one that was really bad. Like Wednesday was talking to Christopher Lloyd in the jar and she's saying her line, and then it's a cut, like a straight cut on her finished sentence, straight cut.
Yeah.
To like a 15-degree difference, but it's so jarring that I had to double check. I double checked it like an hour ago.
Yeah.
It almost looks like the setting is different, but it's a 15-degree angle change, and it's a cut to another Wednesday line with this slight angle change, and it's like
it seems like a reshoot.
This
maybe
should have been either somewhere in there, maybe Christopher Lloyd was supposed to have another line before she said that, or something, or they had issues filming. There was one like that. That was the one example that I could remember off the top of my head that was really jarring. There was quite a few of those though.
Broke your immersion.
There was quite a few different things like that. That's the only one I could remember off the top of my head like that.
Early in the first half, you complained multiple times about the editing and continuity to me.
Yeah, I forget what it was. There was like a full-blown like continuity error. I'm like, oh yeah, there was like continuity errors like Bianca was bad for it because she has this really big smile. Mm-hmm. And then you'd cut to a different shot, completely no smile. And that was really jarring too. Like that was another example. Like it's like that's somebody's job, is to watch that continuity. That's why something tells me that there was a lot going on with this where they had to do reshoots, recuts. Stuff wasn't working correct as it should be. And with that much time taken to do it, and this like big budget shows to do this, you gotta watch it. Like people gave Game of Thrones the worst time when they would make mistakes like this. But Wednesday kind of gets away with it. Yeah.
Now you're talking about there might be problems. It calls to mind years and years ago. I remember when I don't remember if they were in the writing phase or even in the filming phase, but I remember Jenna Ortega had a couple of outspoken moments about that where she wasn't really happy with the direction things were going, and she took on a producer role this season just to steer some things in a direction she found more favorable. So I feel like it's the way she was carrying herself in that. I did believe that she was looking out for the best interest of her character, and they maybe were pushing in a direction that was not advantageous to the Wednesday character or to her as the lead performer. Whatever was happening, she was not 100% about it. And there were a lot of rumors she was maybe going to leave the show. So I do feel like something got retailored at some point. I would not be surprised if that was
There's distinct markings of reshoots to me.
Yeah.
I think there were reshoots or recuts, changes in the edit to make things work that should have been nailed out on paper.
Something happened.
And something had to be changed. Something got shuffled around in a lot of places, and people weren't on their A games for their jobs. I also think that this might be a case where they're like, okay, let's shoot. And it's like, okay, we got like 2 good ones. That's good. Next.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe you got to slow. But that's the thing, is you'd like to say, okay, slow down your production and make sure you nail this. But they took 3 years.
Yeah. See, all the other stuff we're talking about, now that we're breaking it down, the abundance of characters in a show like this, it nearly reads like there were multiple drafts of the season that ended up having to get
Cut together to make something out of it.
Cut together, reworked, or if there were, let's say, for example, just totally spitballing rumor-wise, if there were even more scripts, say, for example, how many episodes did the first season have?
I think it had the same amount. I think it had 8.
8? But it's possible maybe they wrote too much, like maybe there were supposed to be even more episodes, or maybe they were going to be longer episodes with more scenes, and they just cut a lot of scenes for time, which may have held the middle stuff we're looking for. It just feels like something is missing in the middle, or reshot, or stitched together.
There was also, I noticed, particularly coming to the end, there was very heavy Gaussian blurs that were not done very well on people's faces. Like, they're done well enough that I don't think most people would notice. But to me, when I see that, I'm like, okay, that's usually done with makeup and maybe a little bit of touch-up. That to me screams a fast reshoot where they're like, okay, we don't have time to do full makeup. We're just gonna Gaussian blur it and you know, nobody will be able to see. And to me, I'm like, that's another instance of like sloppy work from a show that should be, they're trying for high tier television. They're taking this long to make 8 episodes. They better be polished, man.
Yeah. I do anticipate the next season probably won't be for another 2 years, because that just seems to be standard for TV now. But I don't think they're going to do 3 again. It's too much. But in terms of the way they make the show, it is well made in a lot of regards. I think the special effects work is very good. Thing, especially, is still the standout. Note my sarcasm when I say Agnes is great. But no, really, she does have good pop-ins and pop-outs. I like the practical visual effects makeup. The zombie work, especially on Slurp, was pretty great. And what else was... The gore effect as well. A lot of good practical gore. The Ravens. The only special effects work I really have any you're kind of breaking my immersion is the big creatures like the Hyde and the werewolves. I also... They
still don't look good. Yeah. I don't think they ever will. I'm okay with that. I give it a pass because I'm like, you know what? CGI characters are going to be CGI.
Yeah.
I think that's actually a good cost-cutting corner cutting thing to be like, yeah, no matter what we do, we're not going to have a great-looking CGI creature. Okay, just make it functional enough. That's it.
Yep.
Like, I am kind of contradicting myself where I'm like, oh, it should be really polished. But not when it comes to creature CGI. I don't expect that from this show. Yep. And I'm okay with the way they do it. Yeah, it's a little jarring, but they use it pretty sparingly.
Most of the effects work is good. It's really just those big creatures that stand out in a...
At least the creature interactions between, like, when the creatures interact with other actors, looks good. It looks good. It's just the general design of the creatures doesn't look very realistic. But they've made the interactions look really good. Which, that to me is the part that will keep you from looking like super corny.
Yeah. Yeah, they're animated well. They move nicely. It's just the textures really just kind of look fake, especially on the hide.
That's hard to do.
Yeah, the hide looks like rubber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they intend it to look that great.
I also thought the color palette's really nice. I think it's just a visually nice show to look at, especially this season. There's a lot of like the richness of the dark aspects of the colors really come out just in the saturation, the reds, the blacks, just everything feels deep color wise.
I will really say nice. That's one thing I've always appreciated about Netflix's like original shows is they're not afraid of contrast. They love to use that wide contrast range. Your brights are bright, your darks are dark. I really like that look.
Yeah.
You know, when you go over to like Disney Plus and it's like, okay, they're almost afraid to use lots of contrast.
We have talked about that before, I believe. I don't know about on this podcast, but in person, the fact that we kind of broke it down what happened on Ahsoka, where we're like, oh, they want flat, even lighting to make the volume look good at all angles.
But it looks flat.
They're afraid of traditional lighting because they don't know how to make it work on the volume yet.
Yeah. Well, it'll tear the effect apart if you play with it too much. That's why if you've done any like research into the people who work with it, they're like, okay, the volume works great if you nail it on your design. Your design has to do the heavy lifting. That whatever's going on the screen has to be done precisely because you're not changing it afterwards.
Exactly. Netflix, meanwhile, is still working more on practical sets and green screens so they can create the look they're going for.
Yeah.
They have a little more leeway in terms of artistic styling that they can do. Other things I enjoy about the show, the costume design is good. A lot of the production design is pretty decent as well in a lot of cases. I like the Nevermore style, just the sets that they have going on. I really like Danny Elfman's score. It's hard to describe except to say it's fun and creepy in equal measure. And it's also very melodramatic and big.
Yeah, it definitely can be. And then it's subtle when it needs to be subtle too.
Yeah.
Which is, you don't always want something that's in your face.
Yeah, it does.
But it's big when it needs to be big and it's subtle when it needs to be subtle. Very well done.
Yeah, so could probably go into a couple more things. The only thing I really feel like I want to acknowledge is just Wednesday Addams herself and her themes this year of being an incredibly arrogant human being who maybe starts to find the holes in her own armor this season a little bit. But mostly, you and I were talking about this before, she tends to make things worse this season. If she had just been a passive protagonist and stayed out of all this entirely, things probably would have been better for a lot of people involved. Like, her active involvement just messed things up. Got people killed. The bad guys doing their bad guy plan was... Like, in the first half, she did end up saving some people, but even that was like... Fester was more involved in that caper when they just sort of sent him there.
I will take it back, though, because I said it before, like, one of the final episodes. I think it was like we were on 6 out of 8 episodes or something, and then afterwards, it's like, okay, you know, I was like, oh, even if she didn't get herself involved, he would have finished his experiment to take away her hide powers. Well, that's not necessarily true because he needed his hand still, and
that's true.
There was still going to be that act of revenge that needed to be done, so I got to take that one back. But for at least for the first half, she didn't get involved. Things would have been better. Even still, technically, if she wasn't involved there, it could have been better.
Yeah, really all that would have happened is you would have had all those outcasts in the basement who everyone thought were dead anyway.
Yeah. Well,
But otherwise,
wasn't it her investigation into things that got like the sheriff killed too?
yeah, it helped get the sheriff killed. The fact that she sent Fester down to that basement in the first place is why the power went out in the prison and led to all the guards getting killed and all the inmates escaping and Tyler escaping as well. So like 8 outcasts might have died in the basement, but a lot more people died because Slurp and Tyler got out. And also that one lady, the Raven lady, she hunted down a lot more people after that fact too. She killed all those outcasts anyway.
Yeah. The only one of them got away.
So just by virtue of her even going and investigating, dozens more people died than they would have. But she also is like, oh well, you know, I'm doing right all the time. Everybody else is an idiot. And I kind of like how she always believes in herself, but the show around her is, okay, hold on a minute. Your arrogance is kind of a problem. The fact that you're so overconfident in yourself, it's causing general issues. Like just even in her own personal relationships, like she's so confident she can do this alone, she doesn't let Enid in on anything. She's trying to do this to prevent Enid's death, but no, forget it. I'm doing it all alone. She doesn't involve her family whatsoever. She doesn't want any of that baggage. She doesn't look after Pugsley like her parents told her to. That was like the first thing. Look after Pugsley. And then they didn't really interact all season. She never checked.
Saw him till like the end.
No, she never checked in on him once. Maybe once.
That was the only thing. Yeah, she's pretty self-absorbed, isn't she?
Kinda, yeah.
I'm too busy with my Wednesday stuff, hunting serial killers.
Even right at the end, she only figured out what was happening with Bianca and Ajax just because it kind of...
She was forced to.
She was forced to, and it sort of lined up with what she was already doing. But she had no idea what was going on with anybody else from season 1.
Yeah.
She was totally in her own world. Oh yeah, and the big thing was she nearly did get Enid killed in the end because she wanted her psychic abilities back so badly, she made a deal with the ghost and then ended up with the body swap thing and okay, well, you're both gonna die by tomorrow morning. Specifically because she didn't follow her mom's advice to leave it alone. Work up to it slowly, get your spirit guide.
I did like that she basically was punished for abusing her power.
Yes. Yeah, that was the first big consequence was, oh, I think I mastered my power over this summer, and oh, wait, it's gone.
It's gone. No.
It's gone, and I can't get it back. Dang it. And she didn't get it back. She got her spirit guide, but... So I am looking forward to see where she goes in season 3. I think she might have learned a couple lessons. We will see.
No. The show's got to have CW drama, okay? She won't have learned her lesson yet. No one learns lessons. That's how it works.
So Wednesday is like the Seinfeld philosophy. No hugging, no learning, no sharing, no caring.
Yes. That's exactly it. No, nobody's allowed to learn in these shows. It takes them multiple seasons before they can have any character progression.
Cool.
That's how you keep a long-running TV show, by not altering the characters.
I really don't know how they're going to keep this show going. From the way this show is already going, Jenna Ortega is going to be 30 before Wednesday finishes high school. She's like, okay. All right, we'll see how that goes. I'm curious if they would actually finish it past the Nevermore years, keep going. Or if they would
If there's money in it, they'll do it.
Yeah.
You know they will. They'll milk it for everything they've got. I already can see that the creatives behind this show... Maybe the first season was a passion project, but now they're just like, okay, we gotta do it. It's a job now.
Yes, they're the same showrunners who did Smallville. Keep that in mind. That's the show about the high school Clark Kent, which a lot of people think peaked when he got out of high school and around season 4, and they ran that show for 10 years. I don't think they ran it the entire time, but these are the guys who have traditionally dragged out a show way past its expiration date.
They'll drag it out forever. They'll find a way to keep Wednesday at the school.
She'll get held back. As long as Pugsley's there, they can still have a student.
You have to stay for Pugsley because he's too stupid to get past the first grade.
Her parents are already there.
Morticia's the teacher.
Yeah, she probably would be. I could see that. Yeah, there's ways you could keep going with it.
They'll drag it out. They'll drag it out until it's not profitable anymore.
I'm hoping for the Netflix standard of 5 seasons for shows that are doing okay. Get us to like Stranger Things levels. It is about as big a hit for them. Maybe not like, quite to the same cultural phenomenon, but I feel like it's about as big as Stranger Things now, past its first season. It's one of their biggest shows of the entire streaming library.
Well, once Stranger Things is over.
In 2 months.
Is that when it is? Yeah.
Yeah.
So then they'll have what? Just Wednesday?
That's their biggest
Squid
show.
Game ended.
Squid Game's over.
What else do they have?
They used to have that one show called like Big Mouth. I think that's done.
That's done.
BoJack Horseman is long gone.
Yeah.
House of Cards
That's
gone.
All their big ones are gone. This will be their.
This is their biggest hit that's still on the air.
The Witcher's done.
Oh yeah, The Witcher. They tried to milk The Witcher for all it's worth. That didn't go very well for them.
They killed the Sandman.
Sandman's dead now.
I don't know what they'll have to come up with something original then.
I'm sure they have a lot of stuff, but in terms of big shows that basically everybody has heard of, at least, Wednesday's basically the only thing they've got going past this year. So they're going to, which simultaneously makes me excited and scared, because a lot of times creative shows are their most creative when nobody's looking. But now that you're the company's flagship show, basically, there might be a few more restrictions placed on how far they can go. You're not allowed to
maintaining our whole Netflix audience, okay?
You're not allowed to kill off Tyler. He's the main love interest. We got to keep this going for 10 years. Which is really just 5 more seasons.
But they're not allowed to be properly dating either. You have to keep the will they won't they going.
You got to drag that out for at least a couple more seasons. And you're not allowed to kill him off.
Painful.
Oh yeah, and then there was that whole prophecy about an Addams is supposed to die, and they just totally sidestepped it. Oh, I guess it was wrong. Which I thought it was.
I mean, How does she know her prophecies? What is the timing on these things?
That's true. I thought it was
maybe
gonna be
Enid is still gonna die. Oh no, she said the prophecy changed.
Yeah, that's true. She still doesn't know. That prophecy is gonna come to pass in like the series finale.
Season 10. Enid dies finally. And it's Wednesday's fault.
But it'll be like the thing where Tyler's mom is an outcast and they mention that casually in season 1. It'll be like, hey, do you remember that prophecy that an Addams member is going to die from all the way back in season 2? We're finally paying that off when everyone thought, we forgot it. Joke's on you.
Why'd they gotta go and kill Gomez? What did he ever do?
He didn't have powers.
Wait, we said season 10, so that's like what? 18 years away? So in 18 years, somebody will find this podcast and be like, oh my god, Justin was right. They did kill Gomez off in a result of the prophecy.
Wow. What do you know?
What do you know?
I did think it was interesting they gave him a backstory, though, of that whole experiment is how he lost his outcast powers to start.
Yeah, that was cool.
Like, oh, so there was a backstory for Gomez. I have always wondered, how is he just normal? Pugsley's got powers, his brother's got powers.
Seems like in this universe, all the powers come from their parents. Like,
It's a hereditary thing.
all of them.
Yeah. Which is why it's kind of interesting that the music teacher is like, oh, my parent was a Hyde and a werewolf. She's a werewolf. And then you get like the Addams family where, oh, we're kind of oracles, and I guess that passed down through the female line. So the grandmother is, Morticia is, Wednesday is, and then the electricity powers, you got Gomez and Fester have those, Pugsley has that. They have their hereditary powers from different sides of the family. Yeah.
Well,
So that's our thoughts on Wednesday Season 2.
those are a lot of thoughts.
More than I thought we'd have, personally. So I call Wednesday Season 2 worth a watch still. It does a lot right, and I quite enjoy when it is doing things well. I feel like it'd hurt a little bit to rewatch it just because of all the things we've been complaining about. But
That's why it's mid-tier garbage for me. I don't think it's rewatchable. I think the first season is better than mid-tier garbage. The second season is mid-tier garbage.
it's mid-tier garbage, but like when season 3 comes back, I feel like it has the potential to be pretty good again.
Maybe it might be worth it, but it's definitely, if it does go to like 10 seasons, it'll be like, yeah, there was the season 2, the gas leak season.
Yeah, I feel like this is the point where like there's enough potential still in this show where next season is, I think, going to be the make or break. It's either going to get worse from here or it's going to get better again.
Yeah. I do think that if the next season's on the same level as this one,
It's done.
that's it. Netflix won't push it. But I know it has enough carrying force that they will renew it for a season 3.
It's good enough that you still have enough goodwill to continue with it. So I think it'll be okay as long as season 3 is good. Anyway, that's Wednesday season 2. So where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at jchurchtpm.
And you can find me on Instagram at ThoughtPlaneMedia. And check out thoughtplane.ca for everything else we do. There's hundreds of posts there for free. And you can donate $1 or $2 there if you like our work and you're feeling generous. We hope to see you on the next close-up. Till next time.
Bye-bye.